It's one thing to figure out a name for your boat, but how do you figure out what you're going to use as your hailing port? Hi, I'm Nika Waters, and welcome to the Boat Galley podcast. I'm sharing a couple of things that went through our minds when we think about a hailing port for Calypso. Today's episode of the Boat Galley podcast is sponsored by Marine Electronics Advisor, a service from SeaTech Systems. Get unlimited expert advice as you upgrade and maintain your boat's electronic and communication systems. Got questions about how to install your new AIS? Want to know if that on-sale radar will talk to your chart plotter? Have questions about how to configure your new Wi-Fi extender? Maybe you're embarking on a full electronics refit and just want some advice. The Marine Electronics Advisor has you covered. Use code BOATGALLEY for an exclusive $100 off your first month subscription. Visit seatech.systems/DIY to learn more. That's SEATECH.systems/DIY. Marine Electronics Advisor, the ultimate subscription consulting service for the DIY boat owner. Hailing port. Never something really I thought about much. The first port we had for Calypso was Houston. We were state titled in Texas, registered in Texas, and I don't think we thought we really had an option. We were living in Houston at the time. Sure, have it in Houston. When we left Houston and moved to Virginia, we swapped it to Deltaville because that's where the boat was. And again, we were still state registered, state titled. We thought, okay, the boat's living in Deltaville. That's where the hailing port's going to be. When Jeremy became a U.S. citizen, though, we filed paperwork immediately to document Calypso, almost right after he got his passport. We haven't had any trouble, and I know some people have, but we personally have not had any trouble sailing all through the Eastern Caribbean, sailing under just a state flag. But it isn't as official as a federal title. And there are lots of rumors out there about places that won't accept state paperwork. Initially, we just kept Deltaville as the hailing port. We're Virginia residents. Deltaville was where the boat lived. We already had those graphics on the transom. Lately, though, it's time to move on from Virginia. We're Vermont residents now. I started to think that I didn't really like seeing Deltaville on the transom of the boat. Soon enough, Calypso's not going to be in Deltaville anymore. And it's not like we don't appreciate all that Deltaville has to offer. We've been served very well by this town for a very long time, first as a weekend destination and then more recently as a home base. So what if our hailing port was a visual reminder of where home really is? I remember when we were cruising with the kids and we were dinghying through Elizabeth Harbor in Georgetown, Exuma in the southern Bahamas. And I don't remember the name of the boat, but I do remember the hailing port, Dorset, Vermont. Dorset is landlocked, but it's a little town where my parents met each other when they were young kids over the field club tennis court. It's a little town where Jeremy and I were married one snowy December afternoon almost 29 years ago. It's a little town where both my grandmothers and my great-grandmother lived, where there are memories for me at almost every single corner. And you can bet that as soon as I had a chance, I stopped and knocked on the hull to introduce myself. And it turns out that the family were members at my mom's church in Dorset and the same church where my brother and sister-in-law were married 20 years ago. It is a very small world, and I never would have gone to say hello had it not been for that hailing port. As a U.S. Coast Guard documented vessel, we are required to display both a name and a hailing port on the boat in 4-inch high letters. And the National Vessel Documentation Center tells us that the hailing port needs to include a city and a state or territory of the United States, and the state can be abbreviated. There is nothing saying that it needs to be a water port or that it needs to be the closest port to where you routinely keep the boat. It doesn't have to have any connection to you whatsoever according to the Coast Guard. It just needs to be a place in a state or territory in the United States. We hadn't planned on having a home base. We thought we were just going to sell the house in Charlottesville and be done. But when I inherited a house, along with my brother up in northern Vermont, we now have a home base and a land base, and we're not getting rid of that house. We've registered to vote up there. We're now Vermont residents. That's where our permanent address is. And really, when we thought about it, it made perfect sense to have basically landlocked, except for a lake, Averill, Vermont on the transom. Because now the transom has Calypso, our home, and Averill, Vermont, our home, in one spot. I can't wait till we share in Anchorage and you share your story about how you came up with your hailing port and if you went through the conundrum that we did trying to decide what you were going to choose. Thank you so much for listening to the Boat Galley podcast. We love it when we hear from our listeners. We love it when you subscribe. We love it when you share us with your friends. Have the most spectacular week.